Currently, the world is witnessing events that point to extraordinary phenomena. While global warming is causing the melting of icebergs, something unusual has occurred in the holiest city of Islam, a snowstorm. Simultaneously, biblical prophecies warn of a great city that will attract worship to a false god, represented by the figure of a prostitute woman. This divine warning about blasphemy is associated with this mysterious city, whose existence and influence are enigmatic. Recently, the city of Mecca witnessed its first snowstorm, attracting the attention of thousands of believers who interpreted the event as a celestial message. According to the Bible, snow symbolizes the forgiveness of sins. This snowstorm in Mecca echoes ancient divine warnings about false prophets and teachers who are compared to negative events of the past. Additionally, there is a reference to the black stone, known as the Black Stone, located inside the Kaaba in Mecca. While this stone is seen as a divine wonder by many, there is an interpretation suggesting a connection to the false prophet mentioned in biblical prophecies, as revealed by Jesus in the prophecies of the Book of Revelation. Identified as none other than Muhammad himself, according to Revelation 13:14, the predicted false prophet is destined to create a deceptive image representing a beast, inducing the inhabitants of the earth to follow a wrong path. People are not only deceived, but also commanded to worship the image in homage to the beast. This intriguing image has a crucial symbolic meaning related to the fascinating reference to the sword wounds, strengthening the understanding by connecting with the sharp sword that came out of the mouth of Jesus Christ. The sword itself is a symbol of judgment, and divine authority is a powerful force that plays a key role in unfolding events. As we explore the revelations, Jesus continues to reveal profound truths in Revelation 17:8, indicating that the beast existed in the past, disappeared, and is destined to reappear. This enigmatic cycle of existence and non-existence confuses those whose names are not written in the book of life. The beast of Revelation, expelled from heaven, is contained within the black stone inside the Kaaba. Some people still do not understand what is inside the Kaaba, mistakenly thinking that the Messiah is there, continuing to pray fervently. Jesus warns us to flee from the great city, cautioning that the God we worship may not be as they perceive. Despite Saudi Arabia allowing Christians to enter as foreign workers, they are not allowed to openly practice their faith, limiting their celebrations to private locations. The formation of the Kaaba dates back to Islamic tradition, attributing its construction to Ibrahim, and his son Ishmael. Muhammad, after being expelled from Mecca, returned and purified the Kaaba of idols, making it the focal point for Muslim worship and pilgrimage. Muslims believe that Ishmael, Abraham's first son, received the blessing of the Kaaba, initiating a tradition of annual pilgrimage and sacrifice. Meanwhile, in the New Testament, Abraham is highlighted as a man of faith and obedience to God. For Muslims, Ishmael is considered a prophet and ancestor of Muhammad through his son Ishmael. However, accounts diverge from the biblical narrative, where Isaac is highlighted as the chosen son of God, born of divine promise. Ishmael, Abraham's son with Hagar, is described as a warrior but not as the heir to his father's legacy, as portrayed in the Bible, where Isaac is the son promised by God. Hagar is considered a servant of Sarah, Abraham's wife, while Ishmael is the result of a circumstance not in line with divine will, according to the biblical narrative. The Antichrist, also known as the man of sin, is prophesied to perform deceitful miracles with the help of Satan before the second coming of Christ, as mentioned in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. His appearance is seen as a sign of the end times, marked by injustice and corruption. He will deceive many with his false miracles and teachings, initially claiming to be Jesus and later declaring himself as God. His influence will be global, promising wealth and solutions to people's problems. However, his inability to correct his own physical imperfections will be a sign of his falsehood. False gods are individuals who claim to speak on behalf of God, but have their own motivations. Jesus warned his disciples about these deceivers, instructing them to recognize such imposters. Their presence is dangerous as it leads people away from the truth and into spiritual error. These false prophets can be identified by their actions and teachings contrary to the true message of God. When Jesus interacted with people seeking or disoriented, he always showed compassion, responding with patience and kindness. However, his attitude changed when confronting religious hypocrites and false teachers, expressing righteous indignation and firm conviction. God offers signs of the Antichrist to keep people alert and avoid being misled by false temples and deceptive signs. However, even more important is to focus on God, letting his light illuminate the way. Currently, something prevents the Antichrist from rising to power, but when this obstacle is removed, he will temporarily dominate the world before being defeated by God. Jesus taught about the great morning of his return, when all will see him, and there will be judgment for those who opposed him. The faithful must continue to believe and prepare for his return, remaining alert to the signs that God sends. In the history of Yahweh's people, God guided his people through various means, including the law, the priesthood, and the prophets. However, there were also false gods who deceived the people, selling their services to unscrupulous leaders. These false gods spoke on behalf of God for their own benefit, leading the people away from divine will. God constantly warned about these dangers, denouncing their deceptions and sins in the Old Testament. Instead of confronting Israel with the truth about their sins, the false prophets chose to brainwash them, covering up the truth with comforting and encouraging messages. This approach was attractive to those who wished to feel close to God without facing challenges. This dynamic can be observed in Ezekiel 13. On another occasion, these prophets lied to the nation of Israel, sometimes intentionally and other times mistakenly, sincerely believing that their words came from God. God did not tolerate this deception, considering it a lie. Furthermore, false prophets would threaten those who truly spoke on behalf of God, putting them in danger. This happened because people preferred the pleasing messages of false prophets, making them more popular than the true messengers of God. False gods not only exist in the external world, but also in our own imagination. Contrary to the idea of a vengeful and wrathful deity eager to punish, God is seen as someone who desires to manifest mercy. Although there are consequences for rejecting God, the emphasis is on his desire to demonstrate love and grace. Therefore, when speaking, thinking, or addressing God, it is important to understand his loving and compassionate nature. As for the return of Jesus and the events related to the end times, only God the Father knows the exact moment. Jesus, when describing these events, includes details like the rapture, indicating that only God knows when this will occur. Therefore, we should prepare for the second coming of Christ by drawing near to the Lord, spending time in prayer and communion with him. This is one of the best modes of preparation for this eagerly anticipated event. Prayer will lead us into a close relationship with our Creator, keeping us near to the Lord, which will prevent us from being caught off guard or unprepared for his second coming. As we read the scriptures, we are drawn closer to God because of the power contained within them, and we receive guidance on how to live rightly and prepare for his return. Living a life of holiness is crucial, for without it, we will not be ready to receive the Lord. Keeping our focus on God helps us remain alert for his coming, avoiding distractions that the enemy may throw our way. Loving and forgiving one another is essential, for love is the element that keeps us united and is fundamental to being prepared for Christ's coming. As we approach the end times, we must live in constant readiness, aware that the Lord's return is near. I thank you for watching and stay tuned for more future videos. I appreciate all of you who are with us on this journey. If you haven't already subscribed, click the subscribe button, turn on notifications, and share this video with those who seek to understand divine mysteries.